Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another episode of Lore of League of Legends. We'll talk about the unfriendly land of Lokfar, as well as two natives of those lands, Brand, the Burning Vengeance, and Olaf, the Berserker. Enjoy. Lokfar is a continent beyond Valoran, somewhere on the unwelcoming seas of Runeterra. While its exact location is unknown to the public, many speculate it to be placed somewhere on the north. It is a barren tundra, rough and unfriendly. Everyone has to fight for his share of natural resources necessary to survive. Some struggle against the nature to obtain wealth, others prefer to sail in their boats and pillage, stealing treasures from those less fortunate. It is a land of strong men, where magic is much less common than it is on Valoran. There are barely any mages. Instead, the cold continent is home to deadly warriors known as the Berserkers. Their tradition is longer than any of Valoran's armies can even dream of. Their school is rooted deep in the ancient times when warriors used to channel fury from deep within their hearts and unleash it upon those who were foolish enough to stand against them. Their teachings are passed on to this very day. Olaf is a great example of a berserker who had been seen on Valoran. He had been born a conqueror amongst other strong warriors of old. He had been taught in the ancient ways like his fathers before him, and as soon as he reached adulthood, he had joined his kin in their seafaring pillages. They have raided village after village, taking anything of value that could easily be looted. But soon local villages were not enough for him. Olaf was born for something bigger, or at least he thought so. After months of preparations, he gathered the best of his clan had to offer and bid farewell to his icy homeland, in order to find continents beyond the great ocean. He hoped to find even more treasure there, and bring it home to be treated as a real conqueror, as a hero. Unfortunately for themselves, barely a few hours after leaving Lokfar, their longboat had encountered a powerful storm. All berserkers fought bravely against it, but they were nothing against the power of nature itself. One after another, they were thrown off the deck of their ship right into the black depths of the sea. They were thrown to its mercy. After long days, Olaf had been washed up on unknown shores of the continent of Valoran, one that the berserker never knew. With his crew gone and his ship sunken miles away, he had no choice. He got up and made his way deeper into the land, to explore it and look for a way home. The continent was fascinating, but frightening to him at the same time. Back on Lokfar, magic was not a common thing. It was to be feared and respected, but here strange mages by the names of summoners seemed to be common. Olaf had approached them asking for a way to return him home. They had agreed under one condition. Before that, the berserker had to serve them as a warrior in unusual wars that the summoners had. The berserker never understood them, but he did not need to. It was just a way for him to find a way back home, and he realised something that many people on Valoran seem not to. Mages cannot be trusted. Olaf never gave away any details of his home or its location, not until his contract was done. With enough information, summoners could find a way to Lokfar to enslave its natives in their ancient ways. That is something that Olaf could not agree to. He never had strong feelings for the people outside his clan, but it was a more important matter. That was betraying the whole legacy of his continent, something that he would never do. There is another champion in the league who hails from the continent of Lokfar, but his origin is much less clear. There used to be a captain by the name of Keegan. As many of his people, like Olaf, he sailed along the coast of the continent pillaging for loot, slaying his foes and kidnapping their wives. He was a cruel man, to the point where many of his victims had called him a monster, not a man. He was on one of his expeditions sailing through the Arctic waters of the sea at night. He noticed strange lights flickering over the frozen wastes of Lokfar. Lured to them, he had ordered his crew to land, hypnotized by the light's curious dance. Leaving only a few of his warriors on the ship, he led everyone else towards the source of the unusual light. The closer they were getting to it, the more attracted they felt. They had finally come upon a buried cave, covered in mysterious runes, unknown to any of them. Their people used to know the languages of those runes, but the knowledge was long gone. Ordering his men to clear entry to the cave, Keegan led them inside, where they found something truly unusual. It was a pillar of living flame, frozen solid into a huge block of ice. All of the pillagers were amazed by it, yet too scared to move. Keegan, as the strongest of them, made a first step and reached out for the ice. His hand had touched the solid wall, and that was the last thing he could remember before the being known as Brand had possessed him. It was a creature from ancient times, trapped here for unknown reasons, but now it was free again. The fragile human body of Keegan could not hold his might, and so Bran had devastating effect on it, causing his skin to burn into ash and his blood into molten lava. He became more than a man. He was an abomination, something that people could call a monster. He had been trapped here long ago using the ancient ritual of the barbaric tribes. So long ago that Bran himself cannot remember what his faults were. Just the flashes of rituals that had torn his mortal shell apart, sealing him in an ice coffin that he could never escape on his own, not without help from the outside. Ancient texts name Bran the Burning Vengeance and describe him as a creature of pure fiery hatred. The only reason for his existence is to lay waste to civilization of humans and Yordles. No other reasons for his existence can be found. He's a being of pure destruction, alive only to spread chaos and destruction, and through it, renew the world. He started to work towards his goal as soon as he possessed a body that he could call his own. He started by murdering the crew of the one that set him free, to later make his way onto Valoran, where he started spreading flames and pain all around Demacia. Unfortunately, he underestimated the human forces. When he was first approached by a pair of young humans, he almost laughed at them. A young man in shining armour wielding a giant sword, and someone related to him, probably a younger sister with fair blonde hair. A sorceress, judging by the fact she was wielding some kind of a wand. Brand immediately sent a couple of spells in their direction, but to his surprise, the spells just reflected from an invisible shell. A couple of swift hits had sent him down onto his knees where he was still shocked. Humans had developed since he remembered them, and it was his downfall. He had been chained and brought before the High Summoners. Entering his mind, they found a way to bind him once again, and promised to do that, unless Bran would agree to become part of the League of Legends. Without any real choice, Bran had agreed for the deal, and since then, became a champion in the League. For now. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this video in particular, express that by leaving a comment below, clicking the like button, or adding this video to your favourites. There's also a Facebook page you could like, and a whole load of previous videos for you to watch. And as always, I'll see you next time.